Hi, this is the case analysis, where I share tips on how you can analyze your case, be it in a case interview or as a consultant. When you become a consultant, you will hear partners, directors tell you, where is the so what? The so what is, what does your analysis mean to the client? Why should the client care? Why is it relevant? And when you become a consultant, it will be so ingrained that when you're doing a slide, you will start thinking, where is the so what? You need to do the same thing in your case interview. So when your interviewer presents you the data, the facts, and you analyze them, the output, the answer you're looking for is the so what. Let me give you an example. If you tell your interviewer, from the data I'm seeing, I can infer that we are growing our user base at 5% a month. That's a summary of the facts. You're just stating the information that you are getting. That's not enough. You need to ask, so what? Let's look at how. You can say, we are growing at 5% our user base, which is much less than our competitor. They're growing at 50%. It's also much less than our other products historically that we launched, similar products. And the reason for that is because our salespeople are not pushing the product enough. And if we don't do anything about it, if this trend continues, we will lose market share very quickly. This is a much more insightful analysis to your client. It's the right way to analyze. So when you do that, when you're analyzing your case, think about three things. The first one is, what is the key takeaway? What is the main message here? The main message is not that we are growing 5%. The main message is that your client has a problem. That's the main message, the main takeaway. It's way underperforming competition. Second thing you need to think about, what is the root cause of that problem? So if you have a problem, if it's surprising, if it's unexpected, hey, why is it causing that underperformance? In this case, the underperformance is due to the salespeople that are not selling, they're not pushing the products to the clients. And then the third point is, what is the implication? What does that mean for the client? If this trend continues, what is the result? What is the effect? In this case, losing market share quickly. If you use these three components in asking the so what, you'll be much more effective in communicating your message and making the client act on it. So remember always to focus on the takeaways, then understand the root causes. Don't wait for your client to ask you, so what is driving? Why are we growing slower than the benchmark? Have that ready, the root cause, and then finally the implication. Why is that relevant for your client? Why should it even care? If you do these three things, you have a sound analysis as a consultant and in your case interview.